We were all taught to avoid the passive voice, right? That it's weak, it's a mistake. But what if I told you it's not a mistake at all? What if it's actually one of the sharpest, most precise tools you can have in your writing toolkit? Okay, let's dive in and turn this misunderstood grammar rule into your new secret weapon. So, first things first, let's completely reframe how we think about grammar. It's not just about a bunch of dusty old rules you have to follow. No, it's about making choices. And probably the biggest choice you make in any sentence is deciding who or what is going to be the star of the show. And this slide, it shows that choice perfectly. Look at the active sentence. The chef cooked the meal. Who's the star? The chef, obviously. He's the hero of the sentence. But then, look at the passive version. The spotlight swings right over to the meal. All of a sudden, the meal is the most important thing, and the chef, he's just a supporting character. So really, it all boils down to this one simple question. Who do you want your reader to focus on? Are you telling a story about the person doing the action? Or is the real story about the person or the thing that the action happened to? The passive voice gives you the power to make that choice. Okay, so now that we've got this idea of focus locked in, let's get into the nitty-gritty. What exactly is the passive voice? And more importantly, when should you pull this tool out of your toolbox on purpose?
So here's the official definition. The passive voice is simply when the subject of your sentence is on the receiving end of the action. So instead of your subject doing something, something is being done to your subject. It's a simple flip, but man, it completely changes where the emphasis lands.
And that flip isn't just for fun, it's a strategic move. There are three main power plays for using the passive voice, and once you know them, you'll start seeing them everywhere. Let's break them down, because this is where the magic really happens. All right, first up, you use it when you have no idea who did the action. Think about it. If you say, "My car was stolen," who stole it? We don't know. And honestly, in that moment, it doesn't matter. The important thing isn't the mystery thief. It's the fact that your car is gone. The passive voice puts the focus right where it should be. Reason number two is all about emphasis. You use it to make the recipient the star. Sure, the queen is opening the library, and that's cool, but what's the real headline here? It's the library. By saying the new library will be opened, you're putting a spotlight on the big event, the new building, which is exactly what you want. And finally, this one is huge in scientific and academic writing. You use the passive voice to sound objective and formal. When you read, "The experiment was conducted," you don't know or care who did it. It removes the I or we from the equation, which makes the research itself sound more important and authoritative. Okay, so now you know the why, you know the strategy, but what about the how? How do you actually put a passive sentence together without it sounding, well, weird? Turns out it's way easier than you think. There's basically one master key that unlocks the whole thing. And here it is. Seriously, this little formula is all you need to remember. You take your subject, that's the receiver of the action, add the right form of the verb to be, and then follow it up with the past participle of your main verb. That's the whole recipe. Let's see it in action. All right, let's try the present simple. Active is she writes a letter. Now, to go passive, we make a letter our new subject. For the present tense, our be verb is, and the past participle of write is written. Boom, a letter is written. Easy, right? How about the past tense? She wrote a letter. We're going to follow the exact same logic. The letter is still our subject. The only thing that changes is that is becomes was to match the past tense. A letter was written. You see the pattern here? It's super consistent. And for the future, you guessed it, she will write a letter. The formula holds strong. The form of be just becomes will be, and you get a letter will be written. Simple, predictable, and it works every time. And get this, the master key isn't just for tenses. It also works perfectly with modal verbs like can, must, or should. The pattern is just modal verb plus be plus past participle. So you must obey the rules becomes the rules must be obeyed. See? This thing is incredibly versatile. All right, you've totally got the fundamentals down. You have the master key. So now, let's level up. We're going to look at 3 power-ups, some more advanced pro-level passive forms that will give you even more style and precision. Power-up number 1 is the get passive. Think of this as the casual conversational cousin of the regular be passive. You hear this all the time when people are just talking, especially when something unexpected or accidental happens. For example, saying my phone got stolen just feels a little more personal, a little more sudden than my phone was stolen. It carries a slightly different energy, a bit more action. It's perfect for storytelling or just chatting with friends. Next up, the impersonal passive. This one is the secret weapon for journalists and anyone writing a formal report. It lets you talk about what people are saying or what is generally believed without having to name a specific source. It creates that perfect objective distance. And you've got two really elegant ways to use this. You can start with it, like in, it is said that he is rich. Or, if you want to be a little more direct, you can make the person the subject. He is said to be rich. Both options sound super professional and give you that formal, impartial tone. And our final power-up is the passive infinitive and gerund. Now, I know that sounds super technical and complicated, but I promise it's not. It's just what we use when the passive action comes after another verb, like describing something you want or feel or need. Let's just look at these examples. In the first one, she isn't doing the promoting, right? She wants to be on the receiving end of it. That's the passive infinitive, to be promoted. And in the second one, he's not the one interrupting. He hates being on the receiving end of an interruption. That's the passive gerund, being interrupted. It's a small change, but it's super important for getting your meaning just right. So, let's bring this all home. The big takeaway here is that the passive voice isn't a mistake you should run away from. It's a high-precision tool. It is all about control, giving you, the writer, control over where your reader looks, what you want them to feel is important, and the exact tone of your message. So there you have it. You've got the real definition, you've got the strategic reasons, you've got the master formula, and you even have the pro-level power-ups. The passive voice is officially unlocked in your writer's toolkit. So the only question left is, now that you know the rules, how are you going to use them to tell your story?